I cleaned up Hank's food thing, and I bagged up all the empty bags into one bag because I'm going to use them for maybe making a, walled-in courtyard. And I get up this morning, and this is. I love doing work twice, Hank. I really do. I love doing it twice. That's a reward factor that I get. Would you happen to know anything about those bags that I had stacked that are now spread all over everywhere? Huh? I see you want to talk. Go ahead. You can apologize. I suspect it's you because the cattle have been moved. No cattle to blame. Look at that. See, these are... He's just dying here. This is... Poor old guy. Alright, well, Hank, stay off of my stuff that I clean up. I don't like it when you tear it all up. It makes a whole bunch of extra work for me. There. Thorough scolding. I could see that every word was sinking deep into his equine mind. And he's definitely, from this day forward, will not break in, tear up any of my stuff, thus making me work twice. Alright, rotate. Alright, well, it's a bazillion degrees it's a broken record. It is Groundhog Day. Alright, well, what we're going to work on, look at where my focus is. No wonder why it's way in a corner. Stupid touch screens on cameras are ridiculous because you accidentally touch them 100 times. All right, let's get going here. I'm going to start working right there. Get that all going. Let me put you over here. There's a nice breeze blowing through this Connex. I'll tell you, I could not be more happy. All right, so let's go ahead and get these doors. I can do that. I can get the doors done. So first off, I found this angle iron bracket over at Tractor Supply. So let's get that in place. Now maybe loosen. All right, the next part of the barn door glide wall is to install the rails. And these rails will be installed on both sides so that both doors can come all the way back. So that's why I went and bought different bolts for it so I could pass through the bolts and bolt it all up. And the spacers will be in there and the board, so it'll be quite a bit of distance. So to get there, I have to figure out how much room I need to hang this wheel. This is the key. And it needs enough room that I can pick it up off of the base and service the wheels from time to time. I guess a person could unbolt that if they were interested. But I'm trying to build a 1,000-year home, so I'm trying to make kind decisions for the people who come after me. That's the difference of why our modern stuff's crap. They don't project themselves, and they don't have any empathy in the person who needs to fix it in the future. Not my job, right? Not my job. But why do that? You know, it is your job, right? Being kind is everybody's job. So anyway, if I spend an extra minute and give this person a, looks like a 1/4 inch here of space, if you see that, then that person would be able to lift the door off and service it at a later date. It could be me, I don't know. Rather than, having to undo bolts, which will be stripped and all that. So that was just a long way of saying the next step is for me to get up here and put this up where I know I have enough space to get it on and off the rails. So if I did it right there, there's not enough room for me to lift it up and put it down. So I'm going to put it there and then run the straps so that it's just under it. So it'll drop down onto the door. So that is the right height. Well, let's see if that eyeball ended okay. Oh yeah, nice and level. All right, so I'll put the other piece in, I'll clamp it in as well, and get a feeling for where I'm going to drill those. And then up here, this is all supported, that end's supported. I might still put some ties in at the top to keep it from springing, between the posts and whatnot. It is not glued here. My idea is, if somebody cracks it someday or breaks it, another person might need to replace it. If I was to replace it again, if this isn't sturdy enough, I would either put in an oak, is what I would do, put in oak. But people will change their mind, they'll change this, right, someday. So they can here. Alright, so the laying out of the bar shows a little bit of a problem. It goes all the way to the end there, but it doesn't go all the way to the end there. So this is, that's a doorway. This I don't know if I was going to build out and around it to make it more pronounced as a doorway. But nonetheless, I still can't run a door with a glide on it unless I scooch the door in. So we'll hold it up and see how close to that I can get. Well, there'll be a bump stop, but I gotta have that to have the bump stop. Alright, a water break while I consider what I'm going to do about that. It's just a little off. I can either build this post out more. I could scooch a couple inches off of there, which would give me about that much. I can move the glides in maybe on a door. Let's bring in a big door and we'll take a look at that idea. Alright, I'm back very late. Too late to work in there, but not too late to work. So they didn't have black bolts for me. All they had was stainless steels. So I stopped at my other job site, specifically to pick up this black paint, which is what I used on the bricks. It's a hard enamel, fireproof paint. So I'm going to real quick dip all these things and call it a night. Let them dry out. Perfect where I come from. Quite a few of my black hardware I've had to do black myself. So these are called mender panels, and I'm going to use these to tie the top brace to, look at that, they need to be, Nothing in life is easy, is it? Of course not. You know, it's really aggravating that am I the only one that hates having to peel stickers off of stuff? You know, how much time is that going to take? It's just ridiculous. We, as consumers, we don't get anything we want anymore. We get close enough, right? 30 years ago, somebody would have had a perfect sticker already manufactured. It probably cost 2 cents per 10 million, and some CEO somewhere removed it. Look at that. Look at that. Man, that's aggravating. Well, back to the paint job. All right, so apologies for the little bit of parallax on a square environment. Everything is square. I've got my wide angle lens in here so we can see end to end. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. I took a break. So a couple of quick things. One, I'm short 4 inches from edge to end with the rollers, but with the bump stops and the way the rollers work, I'll shift the rollers in. I'll still stay on the long support pieces for the doors, so I'll hang the glides on those, and I'll shift this over and I'll split the difference. So you know, it'll end up the way it ends up. Probably I want to get closer to this end because it'll be the door end. But the door could also be the middle because I set these up. You can glide them anyway. I don't know how people will naturally use this. I'm not even sure how this room will be laid out. So that's step one. I'm going to split the difference but shy that way just a little bit. How about that? Secondly, I am dealing with Western cedar, and while it does have several tons of compressive strength for the roof, I'm putting bolts through here. And this little bracket right here that's holding this piece in will need a little bit of additional support. I'm aware of it, and for sure it'll need some additional support. So I have some additional metal pieces, but they can't get in the way of the glides. So the first piece is wherever these holes end up, I'm going to end up running a bracket like that and piling on, if you will, between this rafter and that hole. And so these came all pre-drilled. They're called mending straps. If you go to the Tractor Supply or you want to buy some metal things, these are called mending straps. They feel like they're a good gauge of steel to me, maybe even core 10, and I'll fix that up. I complain about the barcodes not peeling off right. And then I have smaller straps so that I won't have, what I don't want to have is the holes drilled all in the same place so that the stresses accumulate in a diagonal line and it breaks. Now listen, not too concerned about this overall, because when you take a look at the door, these are heavy, right? I'm gonna guess 80, maybe 100 pounds per door. But over a course of 1,000 years, that's a lot of weight gliding on there. But up to this point, this was super solid. So my span is only that span. So other than maybe one decorative piece or two decorative pieces to kind of help the, keep everything tied together, I'll definitely make sure the long mending strap, they only had one. I would have bought more. I only had one. Will be over here. Later on, if I go to the Tractor Supply and I see more, I'll go ahead and put more in of the mending straps because, this will be all lag bolted in. I could take it apart. Let's do those things. Let's make some holes. Let's make some decisions. Everything will be the same distance from the top to here so that it will just slide correctly. And I'm ready to get this rail on both sides as well as the bending brackets in. Let's see if I can complete that. First, I'm going to shift all of this though. Door move. Also, you notice that I have, now if I was more I actually got different size panel doors. That's my personal design choice. I wanted a multi-panel door and then a couple of panels in a door and then a clear door. So your design choice might be all solid. The reason is this door here is right behind it would be the potty, right, or the toilet. So I wanted a little bit. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do a pony wall. I liked Leah's idea of vinyl stickies in there. But when I go in the other side and I look, now this isn't with a light, and it's still got the plastic. You know, you really don't see a person in there. You know, when I do that, I don't see my arm anymore, right? You don't really see it. So maybe I don't need anything. So, but that was the purpose there, is to provide a little bit of privacy on that one. And that one, two great big doors would have filled up too much. So I've got another smaller door in here and then one large great big door. It's just a design thing. There was no choice, nothing I did in there other than a design choice. You might choose different, but these doors were 25 bucks a piece. What a great deal. But they're super heavy, and it normally with the competitors, the ones I found online that were between 2,000 and 10,000, they're aluminum frame. Not gonna last 1,000 years. These aren't real wood either. They're a laminate wood with an outside material. So if they get wet like in a flood, they're not gonna hold up. What I would do is, when I'm done building, you know, let's say I had the time, I would physically make the frames out of cedar and physically redo these doors and just take the glass out of them at a later date. And I might do that once I get my shop saw and my workshop set up. Right now I'm building in situ right here natively, and so I don't have a lot of precision capability to build a door, right? This is rough. This is a rough build, but it'll look exquisite when I'm done. All right, let me do some of these changes I talked about. I get the door on there, right? Man it up on there. Will be when I pour the concrete ceiling, but if the deflection on the top is too great and it pushes the door down, I will just chop the bottom off and it will still glide over the top of my tile. So I'm not worried once it's in place. I'm simply worried about the space between the post and the rail board. And I am a little concerned that I put the load in on the bottom third. Usually you really want to put a load in the mid third of a, you know, that's where you want to drill your holes. That's where things crack, along the bottom third or top third. But another thing I could do would be drill holes in here and run lag bolts up into the post, all the way into the thing. And I've considered that. I might. We'll see. Let's try it easy first. All I'm doing is looking for a drill bit that matches the dimensions of the lag bolts I'm going to put in. Dang, that one's right on there. That'll be pretty tight. Let's try it tight and see if that works out. No going back from this point, Internet. Let me run drill holes. So I have two sets of these barn glides. So I'm gonna move the camera around so you can see me installing it. And I'm gonna feed in through the back and put them on this side. pretty sure. I might end up having to pull them out. It depends if the nut needs to be angle ground, you know, if they hit the glide. I don't know any of that. Since I'm using not their hardware and hardware that I'm adding, it might have too much dimension. So I might be pulling all those out and hit them on a grinder. I'm braced for that and ready. So let me go ahead and pull you around to the other side so you can watch me put that side together. Dropping both of the lag bolts. I went and bought these lag bolts because I'm doing front to back as well as the rail. You'd need to get your own lag bolts, but really I was tapping out at 6 inches. It was hard to find something that would fit this dimension, which is 5/16, longer than 6 inches. If I had to do longer, I was going to use threaded rod. So that's your tip. If you do thicker beam, use threaded rod. And this is specific to the you know, to the rails that I bought. I'll put them in the down below, but at this point I'm not affiliated or anything, so I'm just putting them up so that people can see them. But you do see that the rail is on the bottom third. I'm not a big fan. I am not a big fan. Oh. And then I add complexity to my life. You always do the job twice. So these spacers, they go like that with the foot out so they don't crush into the wood and change your dimension. So there you go. There's your spacers. And the length for me with a real 2x4, dimensional 2x4, was 6 inches. So if you do like me and put a rail in there with a 2-inch board, it's 6 inches on that other side. So I could see, you could still see it sticking out there. Let me go ahead and keep building. Alright. So I put my little foot on that side and my little foot on this side. And then I put that in there. Well, there we go. Now I've got my glides. And I can see that I'm probably going to need to end up grinding that. We will see when I hang the door. Okay, I bought 2 different kinds of nut. This is a locking nylon nut. And these are just your regular stainless steel nuts that I painted last night, more or less black. I see I missed a few spots. I knew I was going to miss. So let me go ahead and thread these on because I don't want to wreck the not locking nylon yet. The nylon, if you look at it, is the width of the nylon head thicker. And I'm dealing with that kind of a tight tolerance with the doors, I think. All right, let me put these on temporarily. While I was moving you, my ear touched the touch screen on the camera and turned it off. So I really don't think cameras need touch screens on their little lenses. Okay. So now I'll just measure off this, but take a look here at where they join up, and the edges of them have a scallop that they snap together, and that's what's providing rigidity down the middle. All right, I got a little wrong angle, but let me put that bolt in first so that I have something to toggle around. All right, that says I'll be okay. We'll find out about that. So if I'm off a little bit and I chamfered it that way, I'm just going to get a bigger drill bit on the other side and drill it out because I've got the room with that foot, right? So I'll fix it that way. We'll see. So the first one was drilled perfectly, right? But this one, we'll find out. I have a feeling that I've made an error. Alright, so I've looked several times. I'm missing 2 of these, which would be 1 out of each set. So I don't know if they had a different vision for the mounting hardware than I did, but those are the same as bushings for tractors, so I probably have them, something that I can use here. Alright, let's see if we can get this going. This center brace is the most important part to me, so I'm going to get it in and then force the other ones. Hopefully I'm not that far out of a line. The cedar will give enough. We'll find out. Alright, originally I thought I might have to cut that centerpiece out and do some kludging around with that, but just oversizing the holes a little bit in the lumber and then using that clamp to squeeze them together into the holes. I've officially got everything in here. Now I'm missing a spacer there and a spacer there. So one is missing a spacer. I think even though I'm missing a spacer, I'm just going to make it tight. Like I'm just going to tighten everything but that one. And then I'll look for some bushings that I have. I think I know where they are on my tractor. And I'll spray paint them black if they fit. And we'll find out about that next. How about that? So I'm going to turn that one around just so I don't have to mess with it. And that one. Looky! Whee! Whee! And I'll cut those off on the other side. Alright, I found some tractor bushings. I've got my, or a fire extinguisher. Oh, let's cut that off and get that sized up there. Alright, let's inspect for fire. No fire. We did it. That one looks pretty straight. Well, while I'm in the business of making sparks and taking chances, while it's 1,000,000 degrees and I have the touch-up paint out and my angle iron's ready and I have a fire extinguisher, let's go ahead and finish cutting these little screw heads out of here so that my doors will glide. Alright, am I on fire? Not yet. Alright. Good deal. I'm only partially kidding about that too. Like, literally I have the fire extinguisher out. Literally I'm double checking and I'm done, and literally I come back in every couple of 5 minutes until I know it cooled off. Alright. Everybody look this one. I don't have that one yet. Alright, so this is Steve, 1,000 Year Homes. I'm going to sign off. So what did I get done today? Man, it was all custom metal work. So it took me all day long. But I got the metal glides installed, the rail installed front and back, both sides. So the only last thing for me to do is to put the wheels on the doors themselves and hang them. And that'll be done. And I might get that done tonight, but I have got to shower. I'm way overheated, and go eat a dinner. I haven't had any food. Anyway, if building a custom design house is your bag, then you and I are kindred spirits. Like, subscribe, follow me along.